Hello, I am Anaide of Silverquill and I am an author, and I am here today to read you my new series that is called Magical News, where you can listen to magical news from this fantasy continent I created. If you are ever interested in hearing more, let me know down in the comments. And now, enjoy! Good evening to the people of Silverora. Welcome to the news special covering the nuptials of the royal heir of Fregidia. I am your host, Frenulf Factual, and joining me today is my colleague Egan Enchanting from the social news, said the male news anchor in a white robe. He normally did serious news segments with his partner Tyrion Truthful. He had no business taking part in the more sensational nature of social news, and he felt like a fish out of water. Not that anybody would notice, he was a professional. Egan. Thanks for the introduction, Frenulf. Our aim is to provide coverage of both political and social context. Can you tell us how it all began, Frenulf? Frenulf. Of course, Egan. 5 months ago, the heir apparent to Fregidia's throne, Johannes Glacier, became 25, age of majority in Fregidia. According to Fregidian tradition, the heir needs to reach age of majority and find a spouse to be eligible for the throne, he said and gave an almost imperceptible nod to Egan, who smiled brightly. Egan. So far, they didn't diverge from the way things are usually done over there. However, Lord Johannes opened the selection process to everybody. Yes, you heard that right. No need for blue blood or huge dowry. Anyone who is not already married, of course, can join in. Frenulf. The announcement sparked unrest among the citizens of Fregidia as well as in the neighboring countries. Fregidia officially confirmed a little over 3,000 applications. The government established a special committee tasked with initial sorting. Egan. Out of the thousands of applicants, only 3 made it to the final round. There were some obvious choices like Hakone's Princess Cassandra, a strong general and a great beauty of Hakone. Her right hook and her golden blonde hair are subjects of envy all over the continent. Frenulf. The master of the seafaring guild Jehan had the second best odds. He is well respected in noble circles despite being born to a lower class family. As a sharp businessman, he could help Fregidia's economy, which is still struggling with the aftermath of the Great Geese Plague of 147. Egan. The most surprising candidate on the list was Wilhelmina of Red Cross. She had little to recommend her compared to her rivals. No connections, money, striking looks, nor special abilities. It was said that she was there to better the kingdom's image and to serve as a sort of token representative of the less fortunate. Frenulf. That proved to be untrue when Lord Johannes chose her as his future bride. The decision caused nationwide uproar and significantly increased tension between Hakone and Fregidia. Diplomatic representatives of Fregidia in Hakone were politely asked to leave until further notice, and there was talk of imposing punitive duties. Egan. The decision didn't just affect foreign affairs. None of the members of the royal family attended the wedding. There are even whispers that they were behind the attack on the bride's carriage on the way to the wedding. Were she just an ordinary woman, she probably wouldn't have survived the assassination attempt. Frenulf. The facts of the affair are as follows. On the morning of the wedding, the bride was coming to the temple of Geryon the Headless when her carriage was surrounded by 30 armed men wielding crossbows and swords. The coachman abandoned his post and ran to the closest guard station. We bring you his testimony, which he provided exclusively for the chimes of Fregidia. The reflecting mirror cuts to a skinny youth with a face full of freckles with the inscription, Hemi the coachman. Hemi. Wasn't my idea to jump ship. I was brave enough to drive her when everyone was too scared to lose their jobs, and I would have very well died there with Her Majesty if she wanted me to. But she forbade it, she did, and asked them to let me go or she wouldn't show mercy. They laughed at that, bastards. I was free to run away though. I made it to the guard's post at the Dead Willow. It took some time to gather enough guys, but we eventually made it back to my lady. I'd never seen such carnage before. The bodies were strewn in all directions, arms and legs torn apart from the sockets. It still haunts me. But on the bright side, I am now the head of royal coachmen, so it all worked out in the end. He winked. Egan. Surprisingly, the bride arrived at the wedding on time, not a single spot of blood on her or the carriage. Some people say that the carriage drove itself. Once the wedding ceremony was over, the new Grand Duchess's white dress changed to blood red, which shocked everyone, except for the groom. He just smiled and kissed her so passionately it made all the court ladies blush. Franulf. The Grand Duchess confirmed that she belongs to the Coven of Crimson Enchantresses in her first official speech to the people gathered at the Square of the Half-Blessed right after the wedding. The Coven sent her to investigate the Duke's mother, who was alleged to have abused her position for monetary gains. Egan. And how did she do that, Franulf? Franulf. The royal investigation revealed that the Duke's mother Brunhilde, in her tenure as the Grand Duchess, ordered tax officials to exempt fabric produced by her own workshops. The difference was offset by taxing other fabric producers more. It is estimated that thousands of weavers and spinners were forced to stop production. The kingdom is now providing grants to those affected. Together with tax exemptions, they hope to restore fabric production to the state from 10 years prior. Again, let's hope the royal couple succeeds in their mission. In their first official press release, they confirmed it was the Grand Duke Johannes who contacted the Coven. He helped Wilhelmina with investigation and quickly fell in love with her. She admittedly took a bit longer to warm up to him, but she couldn't help admiring his bravery in defying his mother for the sake of his people. How romantic. Franulf. The Duke's mother was put on trial, exiled, and all her assets were confiscated. She was not charged with attempted murder, but the public believes she was the culprit and deserves to be punished even more severely for committing treason. Again, to end on a more positive note, the royal couple just announced a pregnancy. Seems like the wedding happened in the nick of time before the Grand Duchess starts showing. Both rejected royal suitors have already sent their congratulations. In light of recent events, the past was forgotten and Hakone diplomats reinstated. The villain is punished and everybody lives happily ever after. I have been your host, again Enchanting, here with Franulf Factual. Franulf. Thank you for watching. To learn about the latest news, tune into the Chimes of Frigidia next week. Until then, may the gods stay ever in your favor.